Hi, and welcome to the People First weekly webinar. I'm your host, Todd Hendricks. Thank you for joining me today. Just a reminder that if you do not want to be on YouTube, make sure you keep your camera off, but I have the chat open. So if there's anything that you want to add or ask questions, please feel free to jump in. I really enjoy having conversations with people about their issues and questions that they may have, rather than just me giving a dissertation on whatever topic we're discussing for the week. So this week, we're going to be talking about, okay, you hired some great talent and they're really go-getters. Now, what do you do with them? So let me put this in terms of something that you may be able to understand a little bit better. If we think about the pet world, specifically dogs, a lot of us are dog owners. The Belgian Malinois has been a breed that has kind of had a surge in popularity in the last 5 to 10 years. And man, they're super brilliant. They're bright. They're interactive. They like to please their owners, but they are probably one of the most high energy dogs that you can own. So much so that they will destroy your home. They'll destroy your yard if they are not engaged and kept busy. And so a lot of dog trainers will say, this is not a great family dog unless you have the family and the wherewithal to be with this dog a lot and give this dog a lot of interaction. So hiring somebody with a lot of talent is kind of like owning a Belgian Malinois. You've got this rocket ship of an employee who can do just about anything. Do you know what to do with them? Do you know how to let them go? Do you know how to let them fly and shine without becoming insecure as a leader yourself? So we're going to talk about this from a couple different vantage points. One, from just leading the person and getting them involved in managing them, but then also from your own standpoint of, do you have any insecurities about this? Are you insecure in your leadership and feel threatened? Because as leaders, some of us do. Some of us feel threatened by people who are really, really good because of our own insecurities or lack of skill or whatever it is. And we're going to talk about that a little bit as well. So, first point we want to talk about is the leadership gap. When you have a really capable employee who starts to outpace you as the manager, the leader, the owner, whatever, you have hired a rock star. And now this rock star has come on stage and can outsing you. What do? Well, you let them sing. You absolutely let them sing, because they are singing not necessarily for themselves. They are singing for your company. Now, if you have hired somebody who is a rock star, and I'm going to use some of these analogies loosely because I think it really paints a good picture for us as leaders. As leaders, it's our band. It's the People First band. Todd Hendricks made that. And man, this is fantastic. But what if I hire another coach, another consultant, and they are honestly better than me? Do I squash them? Do I hold them back so that they don't outshine me? Or do I support them in everything that they do? Because if they look really good, People First looks really good, and then I look really good. Need to think about that. Does that take some swallowing of my own pride? Sure. Does that mean that I still can't manage and oversee them? No, not at all. But when you have a rock star on stage who is really good at that, you let them shine, because them shining is going to make you shine. And if you shine, your company shines. We just have to make sure they stay in line with mission, vision, and goals. And we're going to talk about that in just a couple minutes. So go-getters, kind of like let's go back to our dog analogy, like the Belgian Malinois, they really need a challenge, but they also need trust. So when you have somebody like that, who is a really big go-getter, they can do the job, let go. Cut the apron strings, let them go, but give them some challenges. Say, okay, you know what? I expected you to make 20 sales conversions this month. You hit 30 and the month isn't even over yet. All right, so let's look at goals. I thought 20 was going to be a good goal. You're already at 30. So maybe a goal for the month for you is really 40, because you are knocking it out of the park. So let's establish some really good goals that maybe you can reach for and get within whatever it is that you're doing. What are you doing? You are setting goals for your rock star. You are giving them boundaries, which we're going to talk about a little bit more in a couple minutes. you're also giving them some parameters to work within, and you're still managing them. So, leaders, swallow the ego, drop the pride, and let them go. It's really hard to do sometimes, but it's really important. Now, also, and I talked about this yesterday with my mastermind class, is you have to trust, but you also have to verify. And what does that look like? So, all right, so now they're at 30 sales conversions for the month. They're on their way to 40. You jump in at 35. Now you know it's at 35, and you just jump in and you say, "Hey, how are things going for you? Are you doing okay? Great. Where are you at right now?" And just by you asking those questions and having them give you responses shows that you are trusting them to do whatever it is that they're doing, but you're also verifying that they're continuing on in whatever it is that they're doing. So trust but verify, that also gives you that place of authority and management over them. And I know sometimes in modern day companies and corporations, some of that can be a little fluid and some of that can move around. And that's okay. Some of us as leaders are kind of like the old school. Well, we need to know who's in charge and who's responsible and all. Okay, that's fine. Absolutely. And maybe this is your way to do that to keep you comfortable. You just check in and maybe you verify before you even ask them, but you just still want to ask them anyways. That's okay. That's good leadership, because when you're asking what they're doing and how they're doing, even if you already know, then that is putting in their mind that you are still actively engaged in monitoring what they are doing, their progress, and how their work is being conducted. That's okay. We all need to have hierarchy in our businesses and organizations, and that's one way to do it. So let's talk about us as leaders. Maybe we are insecure. We've got this rock star, and maybe we were promoted to manager, or maybe we were the owner. And let's go back to the sales conversion, per month. Maybe we only ever got to 25 or 30 a month. And now this person's already at 30 and the month isn't even done yet. They're outperforming us. How does that make you feel? Insecure? Well, okay. Let me be candid. So what? Who cares? This person is working for you and they are knocking it out of the park. They are making your company look fantastic, and they are working towards mission, vision, and goals. And they're doing a fantastic job of that. Who cares if they were better at it than you? They're good. Let them soar, right? So how do we as leaders kind of swallow that? Well, we are not necessarily in the same position and place that our rock star is anymore. Our rock star is focused on sales and conversions, and that's all they're doing. Okay, we are also now managing the company, other people, accounting, making contacts, marketing. There's a lot of things that are consuming our time. So maybe we've grown to a place where if we went back to sales right now, today, maybe we'd be at 30 plus a month as well. And that's okay. But that's not our role now. Our role is not sales conversions. That's why we hired this rock star. And they're doing it. So let them go. And leaders, you have to be okay with that. You cannot always assume you're going to be the best at everything. The best leaders know that they're not the best and hire and employ those who are better than them. Why? Because it's not about you. It's about your mission, your vision, your goals, and the success of your company. So let's go to the Olympics, right? And what's everybody's favorite competition in the Olympics? Well, everybody's got different favorite ones, but one of the most televised ones are always the 100-yard dashes. For some reason, that really ranks very high in what people want to see in the Olympics. The men's, the women's 100-yard dash, it's kind of like the biggest event that gets the most television publicity. That's always on at like 8 o'clock at night so everybody can watch it. And let's say you had to put together a relay team, the 400 relay. So everybody's running 100 meters around the track, and you're going to have your fastest. The U.S., Jamaica, France, all these countries, they always have these really fast runners, and you put the fastest people in your country on this team. And let's say 3 years ago, you were on the team, but now you're the coach. And now 3 of these 4 runners can outrun you. Do you get upset about that? Well, no. That's okay that they can outrun you. Why? Because you want them to win gold. Why? Because if they win gold, they bring the honor back to your country. You as a coach get to participate in that. That's how I want you to think about this. It's not you as the head and nobody can surpass you. You as the coach, and if you have other people who can surpass you, that's great because it brings everybody up. So think of yourself as an Olympic coach, not necessarily somebody who has to just hold other people down who are being really successful. So how do you channel this rock star's ambition into alignment? Because if we've got a Belgian Malinois who is just bouncing off the walls with ideas and, they're really go-getters, okay, fantastic. Mission, vision, goals. How do we get that person aligned with those three things? Mission, vision, and goals. And let's channel their energy into something good. Let's go back to dog training. We've got this Belgian Malinois. It's got energy coming out of its ears, literally. It's running in circles. It's digging holes. It's running. But if you start to engage its brain with commands and tasks and you start to train it where it can be actively engaged with you, these dogs dial in and man, they're super focused. And that's why they're used in militaries and police departments around the world because they are super focused. They're super intelligent when they have a task in front of them. So think about that. You've hired this rock star and you say, yeah, go sell stuff. And they do, but now they've got other ideas and they start kind of getting off in different directions. No. Mission, vision, goals, keep them aligned. Give them goals, tasks, and objectives that will channel all that fantastic energy into whatever it is that you're working towards. And that's what we as leaders and managers have to be able to do. Man, we've got this great employee. It's a rock star. They're doing a fantastic job. How do we channel that and focus it? Just like the Belgian Malinois. It needs a task in front of it. It needs to be focused because then that's when it really, really shines. If I were to take you to somebody who owns a Belgian Malinois and hasn't done any training with it, doesn't really take it for walks, I'm going to show you a house with a shredded couch, with scratched up doors, with broken furniture. Like it's going to be a wreck. And you'll be like, this dog is a Tasmanian devil. Like, who would want this dog? But then I could take you to a trainer of Belgian Malinois and watch this trainer take the dog out into the yard, snap its fingers, and this dog does all sorts of stuff. Simple commands, and this dog is running, it's jumping, it's doing everything that the trainer has asked it to do, and it's doing it with precision and speed and focus. And you're like, wow, that dog is amazing. It might be the same dog. But when the Belgian Malinois is focused, given a task, and trained correctly, oh man, here we go. Did you hear what I just said? It just kind of hit me right there. When a Belgian Malinois is focused, given a task, and trained correctly. If you have an employee who is focused, given a task, and trained correctly, what do you have? A rock star. And that's what you want. And that's what you can do. So coach them along all of that. Train them to do all of the things that you want them to do. And then when they have, I don't want to say peaked or plateaued, but once they've kind of got a good handle on that, maybe they're the person who trains the next sales rep. Because if they're already at 30 sales conversions a month and the month isn't even over yet, and now you've got more people coming in, man, who do you want training them? You, the owner, who's already got everything else that they have to do? Or do you want a rock star who really knows how to train people, or who really knows how to do the job and can train people to do it just like them? So let's go back to the dog world. I love that there's so many crossovers here. A lot of people struggle with training small, young dogs. I've done it and it's frustrating. It's like training a baby. They're babies. They don't know what they're doing. Who is the best trainer for a small, young dog? It's not you. It's an older dog. And if you've ever seen an older dog and a younger dog together, the younger dog will follow the older dog and do what the older dog does. And the older dog will correct and train the younger dog just by proximity and relationship and being in the same place together. Same thing for your rock stars. I keep going back to the sales conversion, person, but if they're doing a fantastic job and now I've got a new hire who's coming in, hey, you're going to go hang out with this person and I'm going to task my rock star with training my new recruit, my new hire. Why? Because I want not just one of them, I want two of them. And if I can get three of them, then that's what I'm going to do. That's what you do. So once they've got mission, vision, goals, they've got a task in front of them, they've got boundaries, they've got guidelines, let them train somebody else because then they multiply themselves. And then what are you doing? You're not multiplying one person, you're multiplying the power and the force and the success of your company. And that's what you're really in business to do, right? Absolutely. So let's move on to the third and final point. Empowering without abdicating leadership. That's a fun word, isn't it? Abdicating. That comes from royalty when they give up the throne because they no longer want it or they want to give it to somebody who they feel is a better job, abdicating. So how do you do that without abdicating your leadership, without giving up your leadership? You can empower them without giving up your leadership. Let's go back to the example of training the new hire. I am empowering them to do something, giving them authority and giving them responsibility, but I'm still in charge. Why? Because I gave them the new hire. And I'm going to be checking in first week. Hey, how are things going with the new hire? Are there things that I need to do that I should talk with them about? How are you feeling with this process? Are there things that you need support in? They're outselling me by miles. That's okay. I'm still in charge. And I don't have to feel insecure about that. I am there to support my rock stars who are doing a great job. And so, again, remember, I've said this probably, 30 million times. Exceptional leadership can be done in bursts of 10 to 15 seconds. So all I need to do is go to my rock star and check in with them. Hey, how are you feeling about this new recruit? And just get feedback. Because that's data. That's data for me as an owner, as a CEO, as a manager, whatever, that I can use to make good decisions moving forward. I can also go to my rock star and say, hey, I see how you've been training them on this process. Do you think you could add the next step to that? 10-second question. I may get a 5-year result out of that. Again, exceptional leadership is done in chunks of 10 to 15 seconds. But you, as the leader, you have to be forward thinking enough to think about those things. Okay, I see you, and you have to be engaged. You don't necessarily have to roll up your sleeves and be engaged in the trenches with them on a hourly basis, maybe not even a daily basis, but you do need regular connection and engagement with your people so that when you check in with them, you know what's going on. Because if you check in with your people and they know that you know what's going on, you're going to get much better results. Oh, yeah, they checked in with me yesterday. They know what's up. Yep, I got to be straight with them on this. But if you're kind of an absentee leader or an absentee manager or owner, and they know you haven't been around for a month and a half, and then you kind of come back in, hey, how's things going? I just want to check in, make sure you're doing your job. Yeah. Like, they're going to be like, yep, everything's good. Can't wait for this guy to leave. And then you're going to leave and they're going to be like, all right, let's just go back to doing what we're doing. I've been part of coaching that process before. And my words to that leader, I'm thinking about somebody specifically right now that I coached before. I was like, you cannot not be around. That's the reason you're having problems right now. Your problems are manifesting in employee problems. You don't have employee problems. You have leadership problems. You have you problems. And I said it like that, not disrespectfully. And I had a good relationship with this person so they could take that from me. But I said, this is not a them problem. This is a you problem. And I said, here's what I want you to do. I want you to go, and this was a person who was managing kind of remotely and would only come to the brick and mortar location once or twice a week. And the employees kind of just ran amok and did whatever they want. And I said, go to the store and I want you to work there for a full day once a week. And then at the end of that day, I want you and I to talk. Okay. This is what this person did. So they went. And I said, so how did today go? And they were like, it was fantastic. Like, Like there wasn't any complaining, there wasn't any infighting. Like they were busy, they worked hard, they got things done. Like if I asked them to do something, it was done. Like at the end of the day, I was like, this is amazing. I don't even see why I need to come back tomorrow. And I said, the only reason that happened is because you were there. Just your presence as the owner of this store, of this business, conveys a certain level of authority and expectation when you're there. Now, you are not going to be there tomorrow, and let's see what happens. And sure enough, when the cat's away, the mice will play. And that's exactly what happened. And so we just had to go back into this over and over again. When you are present, things go well. Let's put a timeout right there. Think about your kids. How many of you who are watching this are parents? Same thing. When mom and dad are around, the kids are usually doing what they're supposed to do. But if mom and dad leave the kids to their own devices or, whatever, and some of you parents are like, it's been quiet for too long. I better go find out what's going on, right? Exactly. So same thing. Your employees are really just your work kids. All right. Don't forget that. That's a nugget of gold right there for you. So how do you empower and give leadership without giving up your own leadership? Well, you give freedom within boundaries. I want you to think about sports for a second. And whatever sport you want, you can think about whatever sport you want. And I want you to think about who you feel is the best at that sport. So if you're thinking about basketball, you're thinking about the giants of basketball who have been, for the past 20, 30 years. If you're thinking about football or volleyball or baseball or swimming or diving or track or whatever sport you're thinking about, I want you to think about the person who you feel is the absolute best. Now, let's do a little thought exercise. Are they the best because they break the rules? No. Are they the best because they know how to operate within the boundaries of the rules at extremely high levels? Yes. The best are not the ones who get the most fouls or who make the most bad plays or who step out of bounds or who fault or whatever. The best are the ones who make the fewest amount of mistakes and stay within the boundaries of the sport, right? That's what I want you to do as well. And that's what I want you to train and guide your rock stars to do. Give them freedom within these boundaries. And if they start to get out of these boundaries, bring them back in because you don't want them running off too far. Go back to our Belgian Malinois. They do really, really great. They get the treat if they do the command. You give them the command and they do the trick or whatever it is, the task that they're supposed to do. If they don't do it right, do they get to treat? No, you hold it. And most Belgian Malinois will then, oh, shoot, I'm not getting the treat. I better redo this. And they'll go back. They'll do it again. Ah, yes, now you get the treat. Same thing with our Rockstar employees. Boundaries. Give them focus. Give them a goal. And I think about visually, this helps me to thinking about bowling. When I bowl, my ball is often in the gutter and rattling around because I'm not a good bowler. But let's put the bumpers on. Once the bumpers come up, then my bowling ball stays where it's supposed to go and hits the pins. You, as a leader, as an employer, as the owner of your business, put the bumpers up for your employees. Let them rattle around inside of these boundaries. That's okay, but they're always going to be going towards your mission, vision, goals, and whatever else you set for them. Finally, stay involved without interfering. Now, some of us love to micromanage. Are we being honest? Yes, we are. Some of us like to micromanage and we really, oh, wait, no, let's do it this way. No, hold on, just back up. If you're trying to get from point A to point B and you tell somebody they have to go a certain direction, fantastic. Are there multiple ways to get to point B? Yes, there are. Sometimes let them take a different path. Then ask them about what they observed on their path that was different from yours, because what does that give you? Data that you didn't have before. Let them go. Put the bumpers on. Let them rattle around inside those bumpers, but don't interfere. Are they completing the tasks? Yes. Are they making their quotas? Yes. Are they getting the job done? Yes. Are they aligned with mission, vision, and the goals of the company? Yes. Back up. Let them go. because their way may not be your way, but it may be a better way, or it may be a different way. And especially nowadays, when there is so much competition for your business with the onset of AI and so many different things that are coming up that we've never even had to deal with or think about before, man, don't you think more than one way to skin a cat is going to be good information for you to have in your back pocket? Absolutely. So let your rock stars be your rock star. I interviewed Mike Cavisto, which if you go back on my YouTube channel and check out that interview, is probably, gosh, about a year ago. He's my brother-in-law, full disclosure, but he is a manager for a tech company and engineering, and he has some really great insight into that. And he says, I am not the best person on the team. I lead the team, but I hire the best. And then what do? I make sure that my best people have everything they need to be the best. My job is to create an environment for them to thrive. Whether I can do the job or not doesn't matter. They can do the job. That's why they were hired, and that's why they're here. My job is to make sure they have everything they need so that they can be successful. So let's go back. You've hired a rock star, and they are awesome. Now what do you do with them? You let them sing, even if they sing better than you. Thank you for joining me this week. I really appreciate your time. I hope you catch this on the replay. As always, we will see you next week. Have a fantastic weekend, everybody. Thanks for joining me.